Hello everyone, it's Jenny Burek. I was totally kidding when I said that I might not get back to videos until June 7th, but turns out, and last night I did not sleep. So let's all just, hope for the best that this actually gets up. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, anybody who's got placements in the paths of these eclipses, like how super intense it is right now. And both of them are hitting. I'm getting not in a bad hit, just a direct trine energy. So, yeah. So how's everybody doing? I am very grateful for all of your comments and all of the support that you guys give me and the emails. Yeah. And I have Vesta out today because June 7th begins the 8-day festival, Vestalia, when they would celebrate the goddess of hearth and home. And so she's with us today, and she's involved in this new moon eclipse. So I just want to fill everybody in because I did not give you the time and date for the June 10th eclipse. It's happening all over the world on June 10th at 19 degrees and 47 minutes of Gemini. And it's at 5:52 a.m. Central Standard Time, 11:52 a.m. in London, and 8:52 p.m. in Sydney. And this is going to be a 7, right? So it's about the deep inner need to find depth, meaning, spiritual connection, to find purpose, and to go either like it's about going within or going without. And that really is the order of the day now. I was saying a while ago that Metatron, I remember, mentioned that we're learning how to seek happiness within, because we're going to realize that what is coming from without is just reflecting back to us. If we have emptiness or, dissatisfaction with the self, then those are the relationships we're going to be calling in. But also just the collective in general, a lot of people are not in a good headspace right now. And, if that is you, just hold on, hang in there. We're going through this Mars-Pluto opposition, which I managed to make a video of a few minutes about on Instagram this past week. But, Mars and Pluto are the rulers of Scorpio. And Mars is not in his favorite place when he is in Cancer. And so that energy is like it's a fight, it's an argument, it's a battle, and it's about what's going on deep within the psyche. I also wanted to say that if you're in like northern Russia, Greenland, northern Canada, you'll be able to see the Ring of Fire eclipse. So the moon will come over the sun, but you'll be able to see the outline of the sun around it. And if you're in North America at all, depending on the weather, obviously, you should be able to in Northern Europe and North America and Northern Asia. You should be able to see it partially. So, yeah, but it's not a super, but it is a new moon, and it's a really big one. Mercury rules cycles. And so this is a big new, he's saying hyper jump, hyper jump. We're going into the next phase. Yeah. And I don't know about you guys. I'm having not just me, but family members are really having huge, like life-changing things going on right now. So this is a big one. And sometimes I see people say, oh, if you have planets from here to there, but eclipses, if you don't have a placement like right in the, at around 20, around 5, then it will most likely play out later. But remember, this is a new moon solar eclipse. And so you want to look like 2 to 3 years from now for when, like, the steps that you take now, whatever you initiate, you're going to see some kind of fulfillment, some sort of, he's saying promise fulfilled with the effort that you put forward now. So I think I'm going to have to keep my glasses on because the site really needs to sleep right now. Okay, so I want to talk about Chiron because Chiron is doing so many things in this energy. So Chiron is in the 8th house, which is the traditional Scorpio house. So again, we're talking about something deep in the subconscious, most likely something inherited that relates to lack of self-worth, feeling like we're unworthy. And Chiron squaring Venus is saying it's time to drop. He's saying the act of that some of us have it down to an art of being small, making ourselves less than. It's in an effort to be unselfish, but he's saying that we're crossing that line to selfless, which means that we aren't recognizing, a part of us isn't recognizing that we're a part of the creator. And we can lower our standards, or I guess I'm going to say we can accept less than we deserve because we think we need to do something for someone in order for someone to love us. So it could just be, and remember, Venus is out of bounds in Cancer now, and Venus tends to be ultra giving in Cancer. That's one of the warnings, is really anything in Cancer. So it's really important, because that's in a square, that we have healthy boundaries and that we recognize that we're worthy and deserving of time, attention, and energy. And if we're in a relationship, a job, anywhere he's saying that we're expending effort or putting anything we're putting energy into where we aren't being recognized, and even he's saying even being paid well, if we're not like satisfied and content, then it doesn't have to play out in a big way, but these things are going to, he's saying, revolutionize. So okay, so now he's drawing my attention to the Chiron is sextiling Saturn retrograde in Aquarius. Remember that Saturn is the traditional ruler. Before Uranus was discovered, Saturn was the ruler of Aquarius. And so there's something that is going to be revolutionized in our feelings of self-worth. Chiron is in a semi-sextile to Uranus, which is sitting at the same degree. I have notes all over this, but Uranus and Ceres are at the same exact degree in Taurus. And so that's really about developing healthy, he's saying, personal habits in relation to the physical body. That's how we demonstrate love to ourselves, is how well we nurture, nourish, care for our physical body. And that is, so Vesta is down there right under the ascendant next to the number 1. And you can see that Ceres and Uranus are in a trine, a harmonious trine with the midpoint of that Vesta ascendant. Okay, so that is that you're making a new commitment. I definitely am making a new commitment to ourselves. And Venus, speaking to that energy, to that Uranus, Ceres, Vesta get together, is saying invest in yourself. Let go of like habits that take away our power, partners, jobs, any circumstances where you're living, wherever you feel like you are not being nurtured and loved, we fill that in for ourselves. And of course, Mercury and Gemini, we're talking about, our thoughts. And Marcus Aurelius said that the quality of a man's life is determined by his or her thoughts. It's probably not exact wording, but it's true. It's like, because this is going to be, Mars opposite Pluto, right? this is a tower. Those are the tower card planets. They hadn't discovered Pluto when tarot was written, but you know, they're the rulers of Scorpio, so that's that shaking, right? Like something, you know, easier to, I like what Chris says on Minnow Pond Tarot, that it's easier to jump out of the tower than to stay in it, like holding on when it falls to the ground. And this is really going to play out a lot because it's the 10th house, and this is the universal chart. I use the universal charts. So it's mainly going to be for relationships, long established bonds. The 10th house links with marriage because it's our social status. And at the midpoint of the Sun, Mercury, Moon, and the North Node, they are opposing directly the great attractor in the middle of Sagittarius, which you see at the bottom there, where you see the asteroid that looks like a dandelion, Juno, who relates to partners, and the asteroid Union, okay? And this is the 4th house. This is home, your significant one, your beloved, your divine counterpart, okay? And so really important right now, though, because it is at the great attractor. And I was just thinking about how many of you in the past couple of months that I've told you that you have a placement at the great attractor or opposing it. And I said, be really careful what you think because it will play out. That's instant manifestation. This is instant manifestation energy. The only reason that I think maybe it could, you know, be something that we are progressing through is because Mercury is retrograde. But if you notice next to Mercury and the Sun, look up next to the number 10, you see the Sun with the circle in the middle. That's Saint Michael and chaos. And chaos in our individual charts is something that he's saying, spend a lifetime recovering from or working through. It's big in all of our charts, the asteroid chaos. And so the fact that it's with, he's right there, tells me that lots of stuff is about to go down. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this was collective with the markets, but you know, we say that all the time because it does. It looks like it so much of the time. But the axis of Taurus and Scorpio and the 2nd and 8th house, which are Taurus and Scorpio, which have to do with self-esteem, self-worth, you know, what we love, what we value, those are intercepted. So that tells me that it's time to change the script, change the tape, the recording in the head, and to drop Chiron, trine Heimdall in the 11th, and then the South Node down there with Raphael is actually on the IC. It's time to heal the wound of unworthiness and set yourself free, 11th house, by shining who you truly are, allowing your heart to come out, and really just getting rid of, you know, I almost said whoever's in your way, but whoever you're carrying along with you. And he brought up masculine a lot when we were going over the material because, and I've recently, I think I'm just preparing for a video right now, I've recently discovered what it feels like to be male and the tremendous burden to be the earner, the sole breadwinner. It's really, I don't think that females appreciate that's like an inborn thing. And unless, you know, you've eradicated obligations to be the support, the financial support, most likely, and this can be women too. I mean, I know a lot of you I talk to have, you know, the other way around. But there typically is an obligation to be supported by the husband. That's just a routine kind of thing that we clean out because that's the way that it's been, right? For how long? Still, women don't earn as much money. And hopefully this generation coming in now, and what I believe is that the reason that we all keep saying the rise of the feminine is I think that when you go to a restaurant, just in one generation, You see the dad putting the toddler into the high chair, getting their bib on, sitting next to them while the mom is, with another kid. But it's so different, right? Than at least when I was having babies. It's like they don't have to be asked; they just do it. So we're getting there. But this is about, being stuck in those old patterns and programs, right? The eighth house Chiron, and you need to, he's saying, expend effort. That's the Saturn tie-in. In the sixth, you need to expend effort in order to be appreciated, be loved. Like you have to earn it somehow. And that's not true. It's just something that is almost, he's saying, inborn. Because we're healing all of these collective stories. And it's interesting to me, too, that between Pluto and Saturn, Pluto being at the end of Capricorn at 26, and Saturn being at 13 still of Aquarius, just at their midpoint is an asteroid called Hatshepsut. She was a pharaoh and was completely unrecognized because she was a female. And it was illegal for them to have female pharaohs. But she did it, and she did an amazing job. Maybe I'll look up the link and put it in the description box, because she's really significant in a lot of your charts. I looked at her in my chart, and then I had her in my program, and so she's where she would represent where you're overlooked, where you're not allowing yourself, he's saying, to get the credit, and yeah, where you kind of just go unnoticed. So it can be like a little twinge of the martyrdom syndrome. Neptune, and this is awesome too. So Neptune and Pallas Athena, if you can see them there in the seventh house of, again, partnership, the other, and balance. They are they're squaring and Neptune. The reason why a lot of us aren't able to see the future now is because there's been so much of Neptune's been squaring the nodes for quite a while, and now he's squaring. So what that tells me is that this is where spirit comes in and says, no, you're done. You're done with that. Pallas Athena is about our focus and where we direct our energy. She's very strategic, and she will help us, in moving forward. But right now, it would be unusual if you know what the plan, how exactly it's all going to come together and work out. But it is he's saying, paradigm shift into the supernatural is what he's saying. And he talked about that the last video. He alluded to miracles. That's a miracle energy right there. Squares are not, they're the most powerful aspects that there are. So Chiron squaring Venus is releasing toxic attachment where we've allowed ourselves to be taken advantage of, being the less than, because we believe that we're unworthy. So we allow ourselves to get walked on. And then, and the descendant is in a harmonious trine with Venus too. So, I just like looking at this. If I was analyzing this chart for a client, I would look and say, oh, did your first marriage survive? Just saying it. Just putting it out there. But yeah, that Jupiter Chiron midpoint, so Jupiter, blessings, gifts. He's in his traditional home of Pisces. He brought me a kitty when he got into Pisces. I was a cat playground for that's what started it, the not sleeping last night. But I love him. His name is Loki. So at the Jupiter Chiron midpoint, so Jupiter also represents healing, especially when he's in the sixth house. And he, in the middle of them, the midpoint, is that Neptune, Pallas Athena. So really, I would be very surprised if you have Chiron in the eighth house. Chances are you're very psychic and intuitive, And this energy tells me that people are going to be getting a lot of revelations, like series of revelations. So probably in the collective as well. And let me just, oh yeah, Mary Magdalene, she's in the middle of Libra there in the second house. She is in a harmonious trine if you look between the Mercury, Sun, Moon, North Node, and then come down to the middle of Aquarius. There's Saturn and the vertex, and that's the cusp of the sixth house. So what that tells me is that in order to be successful, to succeed in these next steps, it's going to be slow going. It's not going to be like, you know, instantaneous, like you shoot right up there to the bestseller list, right? Within a few weeks. This is going to take effort and planning because of Pallas Athena. Planning, so strategy, and also, you know, letting go of those subconscious programs that we were fed that were less than, or when we believed our parents who were healing themselves, when we believed what it was that they thought of us, either just the way that they looked at us, the way that they made us feel. And I'm going to read the, what was this? It is the Omega symbol. Okay, this is Night in a Museum. Shadows seem to be moving in the paintings. Whatever you may think of as being dependable and unchanging, you'll eventually find you cannot count on. He's talking about the illusion, obviously. Things are not what they seem. If you try to hold on to stability, sameness, and consistency, you will always lose the battle. You need to move with transformations as they occur. This is key to your personal growth. The Chandra symbol for this is a bull stung by a scorpion. The paintings of the Omega symbol are structures which we assume to be finished and unchanging. But the scorpionic energy here, Mars-Pluto opposition, brings unexpected change, renewal, and regeneration, plus Saturn-Uranus square, to these structures. And so the paintings magically mutate into environments where energies can shift, flow, and transform. The truth at work here is that nothing is set in stone. All is capable of being reworked, reinterpreted, Mercury retrograde. When Taurian energy has become too rigid, too dogmatic, that's the Hierophant, and too resistive of change, the Scorpio energy retaliates and breaks up the old stagnant patterns so that energy is free to move once again. So we're setting ourselves free from something. Everybody's going to have something that they're being set free from. And he's saying we're on a mission to set ourselves free, to allow ourselves to feel loved and understand that we're worthy and deserving of the job, the home, the relationship, that we don't need to just take whatever's offered. So, yeah. Anyway, everybody, happy Vestalia, goddess of hearth and home, and also Venus is in Cancer. So it would be good if you could, you know, change it up a little bit around the house. Maybe rearrange the furniture, put something pretty in your eye line. But really, I encourage you to have a ceremony. You know, take it with a grain of salt when you're watching astrology videos from content creators. It isn't, you know, there isn't like a magical hour or days. You can do manifesting whenever you feel like it. Like Metatron always says, it's never the wrong time to do the right thing. So it's a good time, good day to start, really. When you get this video, would be a great time to start. Because you'll want to be making that list and checking it twice, right? Because Mercury is retrograde. So be specific. You know, I have an idea within, like, say, a 12-year window of when I would meet the person, if that comes to pass. And I kept getting that a soulmate was coming in, and I was like, wait a minute, is that right? Because I don't think so. I don't think that's right. And it was my kitten. So be specific, And I'm happy with the kitten. I just want to put that out there that that's fine for me right now. But yeah, be specific when you're manifesting for a soulmate, because you want to have like the qualities that you admire in yourself. They're going to be in that person. And then the things that we don't like so much about ourselves. I noticed that the kitty is very needy. And I was like, oh, that's interesting, because our pets reflect us. So yeah. Anyway, everybody, I apologize that once again, this is like right before. I'm just going to have to go really early from now on, so I can get out of this pattern. But yeah, love you guys. Thank you so much for all of your comments and likes. And if you hit the notification bell, then when I post on the community tab, you'll get that post. You'll be able to see that in your feed. And then my Instagram information is there. I did post that Instagram video on Facebook as well. Facebook is also there, the Astrology for Ascension page. So anyway, guys, and by the way, I want to say for all of you in the Facebook group, a lot of times when you guys put up, shares, like you put something forward for the group, it says this content is not available. And I don't have time to go through people's readings, so I don't post other people's videos. Yeah, so I just wanted to explain that, because I just noticed a bunch of them, and a lot of them I can't share because it says it's unavailable. So anyway, guys, sending you all so much love. Happy eclipse. New cycle. New cycle, new us. New cycle, new you. New cycle, new me. Yeah, let's do it. All right, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.